Hello, everyone. This is Realtor Linda Peltz. Today I'm here with Mo, and he's going to tell you all about what he can do for you. Take it away, Mo.
Coach Mo Money Mabry, whatever you want to go with. Maurice, Mo, it's all good.
How are you doing today, Mo?
I'm doing awesome. I'm blessed. Life is great. I'm in Sacramento, California, about 80-degree weather right now. So life is great.
Life is good at 80. Yeah, we get a little hotter down here in the Central Valley. So we're always thinking 80 sounds really good.
Absolutely. Yep.
So tell us, Coach Mo, what can you coach some of my viewers on?
Oh my goodness. I'm what they call a core energy leadership coach. Well, what exactly is that? Well, I work with high achievers who like are really feeling stuck, and I help them create awareness around their energy, right? So energy in a standpoint of that overwhelming, draining feeling that you typically have, right? It shows up time and time again throughout our day, right? I help leaders, high achievers create consciousness around that energy because when you have consciousness around your energy, there's choice. And in that choice, you can shift it. You can
Hmm.
shift it to a more fueling, productive type energy, right? And I define that as this anabolic energy, which is fueling type energy, and then the draining type energy is catabolic energy. Okay. So
Look at
think
you,
about
fancy terms.
it. Yeah.
I
Little
always
education
preach,
for you.
not everybody can self-motivate. I have a lot of people contact me about real estate. Hey, I want to be a realtor. Well, exactly do you think we do as realtors? Because you have to be able to
Right.
self-motivate very, very well. Nobody's
Well,
going to tell you to get up and go find clients.
well, here's the thing, Linda. Most people are just on autopilot and they feel that they have to respond to just certain dynamics and it's driven by their emotions, right? So what I mean by that, let's say someone has a habit of ticking you off, whatever that is, right? It's a pet peeve of yours. And they start exhibiting this behavior and you feel yourself getting annoyed and frustrated by it, right?
Hmm.
Feel it coming on. And you react to it in a irritated way, right? And these type of dynamics happens across the board in leadership situations. So I
Hmm.
focus on leaders and how they can control those what we call triggers and help them learn how to get out of their own damn way,
So true.
right?
Hmm.
And think of it like this too. You're a realtor and you have a lot of clients out there, and we're in this new environment where we got politics, a lot of change, the economy, all of those things is happening.
Very scary for people, I'm afraid.
Right. And there's fear present. Is this the right time to make a purchase? And so with that fear, there's certain judgment that people are carrying based off of the information and the news that they're hearing in our society. And so
Hmm.
they carry that fear, right? And within that fear, they're reacting as though I have no choice. So what I do is I help those same individuals look at the possibilities in that moment, right? And if
Hmm.
you can focus on the possibilities, it forwards your energy away from, forwards it away from that draining feeling that you have in that moment where the fear is present.
Hmm.
Focus on the possibilities of the good that can potentially happen and whatever that dynamic is. So when you're looking at it from a standpoint in an environment where politics, war, the economy is creating this negative perception of is now the right time to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We shift that narrative to what you have control over and looking at the possibilities of where you sit, regardless of your circumstance. And when you
Mm-hmm.
can do that, when I can help you do that, there's power of choice involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And with power of choice comes confidence. With confidence comes desired results. And you move forward.
Move forward, and it enhances your life. I mean, it's not something where you're ever going to be worse off. You're going to be better. But if you don't ever make that choice and you don't ever move forward, you're never going to get ahead. You're never going to get forward. You're always going to be at a standstill. And it sounds like probably what you go into companies maybe and kind of help people, whatever, the leadership type thing. Is that kind of what it is? You kind of enhance that to where that company can move forward, to where those, maybe in
It,
my particular line of work, it would be buyers and sellers can move forward.
Absolutely. And from this viewpoint, right, although I work with leaders, but I really help people lead self first. And that's where
Mm,
leadership comes from, leading self first. And and I'm sure you worked with many of clients who carried a lot of fear in making that first purchase.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Anxiety, frustration, if doubt if it's even going to happen. We got to go back and put in another offer. We got to do this, and they just start carrying this frustration, and they stuck with it though. They
Mm-hmm.
continue to put in the work, the action, and they listen to you, right? Because in
I
that
think that's the
moment,
key. They have to trust us. Yes.
right, in that moment, you're the coach because
Mm-hmm.
you've seen it all, right? You understand we got to see this through. And they're listening to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they get through it. They make the purchase, and then guess what happens? Linda, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with me. I know I was a jerk through this whole process.
And
Blah,
we
blah,
do have
blah,
those,
right?
yes. And
That's
it's that fear
because
that sets in
it
every
was the
time.
fear. It was that energy that I was telling you about, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
feel forced. We feel forced. I deal with it too. I'm no different. We feel forced that we have to respond to this emotion that we're feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you have awareness that I do not have to respond, this emotion is going to pass, and I acknowledge that I'm frustrated right now, but there's a possibility out there that I can move in this direction or this direction, and I choose to focus on possibilities. When you
Mm-hmm.
can say that, there's awareness present. And it naturally moves you to this confident state of being. And when you're in that space, win win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I help people really start to see for themselves because they're distracted, whatever they're dealing with, whether it's a leadership dynamic, whether it's something in their personal life, whatever, that emotion distract them away from what's most important, which is that value, whatever that value is.
Yeah, whatever the value is that you have or that company has, or in my particular case, the buyers and the sellers have.
Yep, yep, yep. And so when a person has power of choice, right? And think about it for yourself. When you were most frustrated, professionally or personally, did you feel you had choice in that moment?
Well, you definitely had choice and you had to make it. Do you make it to enhance your life, or do you stay in that stuck position and just maybe teeter totter or kind of move back a little bit, or do you take the bull by the horns and make a conscious choice? And sometimes they're not easy. Okay, this is what we need to do to move forward. We can't just stay here. We can't keep going backwards. We need to start moving forward. And sometimes it's not an easy decision.
But when you're in a doggy dog world like we're in right now, you don't have time to reflect. You don't have time
Mhm.
to personal develop, professional develop yourself. You're just reacting, 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 reacting. Go, 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 right?
Mhm.
And in those moments, when you do become frustrated and you've never had time to really develop and self-reflect of what's important to you, in those moments you're going to feel like you don't have any choice. So
Mhm.
that increases the frustration of what you feel. And what I really do to help people is help them realize you always have choice, regardless of the circumstance.
Mhm.
And when they can create, we co-create that self-awareness that, hey, Mo is right. I do have choice. Thank you
Mhm.
for asking the questions that you asked me so that I can self-discover this.
Sometimes questions aren't easy. Have you noticed that? Yeah, I bet you get all kinds of reactions.
Say, because a simple question that I ask when a person is feeling frustrated is, well, what steps can you take to move through this frustration? Well, I don't know. What do you think I should do? I don't know. What do you think you should do? You tell me. I don't
There's
walk.
not a fit one size fits all, is there? I mean, it's I, and and I kind of tell that to my buyers on or sellers too on houses. I can have two identical houses sitting right next to each other, but there's way different things that's went on in their lives, whether there's a cloud on a title, or maybe somebody died in the house, or I mean, different things has happened to those houses that makes that transaction a whole life of its own. None of my transactions are necessarily identical to another. It is
Exactly.
amazing some of the issues that come up that you get to deal with.
I think you're in alignment in a way of what I do. It's just a different audience, right?
Different
I'm
audience, yeah.
I'm serving leaders and CEOs and high achievers in the professional world. You're servicing people in the real estate environment who's looking to buy or sell. And in certain circumstances, you have to show up to help them self discover, right? Because that's what I do. I help them self discover what's important for them in this purchasing process or what's important for them in the selling process, and what are you looking to achieve as you go through this process? What's the end result that you're really looking for? What's going to give you the aha moments that make you feel valued going through this process?
You really hit that on the head there, that nail on the head. I find it interesting going through these, my initial contact with a client, and what is your goals? What is your objectives? What are we trying to do here? Because, oh, well, I want the perfect home. Well, the perfect home means very different things to different people. So you have to like dig it out of them. Well, what is a perfect home to you? Are you looking for certain things in a home? Are you looking for a certain area? Are you looking for, and then, but what I find interesting about your conversation is what we start out with. And sometimes as we go through the process and they see cost versus, okay, well, maybe that's not really that important to me if it's going to cost that much to get it on there, or location, well, I can't find a perfect house in that location. I'm willing to settle for whatever the differences are. So the beginning of I want it all to the end of, well, no, no, this is what I want now, and it's sometimes very different. But it's that
Exactly.
self-discovery, like you were talking about.
But it's a journey though, right? It's a
Mhm.
journey because before they met you, they had an interpretation of what they think the process is going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And same with me. You know, a person going into leadership, they have a perception and a viewpoint of what they think leadership is going to be. And then they actually get into leadership and they're just like, oh snap, this is crazy. I didn't anticipate this. I wasn't aware of this. I know I went through these different trainings, but this didn't come up in the training. This is totally different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same in real estate, right? You can have A through Z process that you take your clients through, but everybody's process is different because as you're going through the purchasing process or the selling process, there's going to be monkey wrenches thrown in there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to adjust on the fly, and that's going to create certain frustrations, right? Because I went through this as a home buyer. I had my eyes set on this one house that we put a bid in, and I was so excited. Me and my wife was very excited, and then somebody outbidded us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just bummed. I was just angry and had no hope because it was a lot of cash buyers coming in buying property,
Yeah.
right?
Different markets
And
produce different
And
settings. You're right.
process, yeah, we were in that process of just really frustrated about it. And then my realtor at the time was like, you know, there's a reason that things happen, right? And trust that the process is going to work itself out for you. And
Mm-hmm.
it did. But in that moment, she was my coach because she helped us navigate our emotions in that moment of the frustration of what we were experiencing, not getting that house that we had our eyes
Yeah, you
set
had your heart set on. Yeah.
on, right?
I think there's well, of course, there again, it goes back to my line of work, is I really do think there's a house for everybody. It's just, you're right, finding the right person to own that house versus, maybe what they thought originally. Maybe they're not the right ones, but I do find, I agree with your realtor that it has a way of working itself out.
Because you also, and this is where I say we kind of on that same wavelength, right? In mirroring being a coach because you help them work through those emotions of frustration that they may be feeling when they're having difficulty selling or buying a house or
Hmm.
whatever that looks like. And guess who they're going to complain to? You,
Yeah,
right? And
definitely, definitely. Yeah. Because they're frustrated, right? I know we're working on one right now and we have contractors in there, and he's had some tenant issues, and you just don't know what's going to come up. And he does. I can't say daily, but I get a call probably at least every other day, and he's frustrated with this and frustrated with that. And he's like, I'm going to go with whatever you say because I'm too frustrated. I can't even make a decision. But it's like I feel
yep,
for I feel for him, because sometimes they're too close to the situation, and it's like, and everyone's different. I mean, every transaction is different. I might sell the house right next door to this particular one, and it'll be a totally different transaction than what's going on with this one. So it is very interesting. I can't say I get bored.
but I think when you approach it like that, right? Every transaction is different. That means you're creating an opportunity to give each client their own individual experience, right?
Definitely.
And you're not trying to drop them into this box,
Hmm.
but you're taking it from the viewpoint of I'm going to create a unique experience for this person, and that person that I work with. Because through my experience, I've seen what works and doesn't work. And based on the feedback that I'm getting from this client and that client, I can make certain recommendations to support them in this buying process.
Right.
That's the uniqueness of what I see you bringing as a realtor, and it's the same of what I bring as a coach, right? The uniqueness of what people bring to the table of their own personal skills and mindset. And through my experience of being a leader, because I've been a leader for over 25 years, right? And
Hmm.
I've seen a lot, right? And now I'm coaching and I'm doing mentoring, I do counseling. I mean, I do it all, right? To
Hmm.
really, because my approach is to bring value, while leading with enthusiasm, vision, and integrity and commitment. And when I show up like that every single day for my clients, it creates a unique experience for them. And I sure you kind of do the same thing. So that's where I see a lot of our similarities.
Hmm. I think it is very similar. It's just yours is a little broader field, and you can help many different types of leaders, whereas mine is very mindset on I'm a realtor and I help, buyers and sellers. That's just what I do. So mine's a little bit smaller focus, I think, in a lot. But tell me, Mo, how do they get a hold of you if they decide that maybe your services would be really good to use? Is there a
Yeah,
website? Is there a phone number? How do they get a hold of you?
absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn at Morice Mabry, Morice, Mabry, Mabry, or you can visit my website at mauricemabry.com. Those are the two simplest ways. You can follow my podcast as well, the Let's Think About It podcast. Similar conversation of what we're having today. I have this conversation with other excellent coaches that's doing similar work that I do in the fields of career, transformation, leadership, life. It doesn't matter. We think about it and we talk about it. So that's what you get on my podcast as well. So those are the easiest ways to find me.
I think I talk to a lot of leaders on my podcast. I'm sure you do too. So leaders in many different industries. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And the last thing that I would say is um, the best way is to get out of your own way. And how do you get out of your own way? Self-reflect and create self-awareness for yourself and know that you always have choice. Always, regardless of what your emotions is telling you in that moment, there's a choice. And if you can take a step back, self reflect on what the possibilities are in that moment, and then create the
valuable
space.
information. I think I'm going to use that. Let me step
Yep,
back and I need to make a choice here.
yep.
Very
And
good,
then
Mo. Very good.
you can do that. You'll just naturally be in a better space.
Yes. Thank you so much for all the positive vibes. Everybody, this is Realtor Linda Peltz. I love these little informal chats with these leaders that we talk with. Everybody have a wonderful day. I will catch you on the next one. My license number is 01997670. Make sure you like both our channels and you can have more conversations with us. Have a great day, everyone.